Every winter morning, over 20 million people in New Delhi breathe air roughly 18 times beyond what the World Health Organization considers safe. Not during a disaster, just a regular day in the most polluted capital city on Earth. Here, surviving deadly smog does not mean escaping it. It means building an entire life inside it. How they do it is a story the numbers alone will never tell. New Delhi's atmosphere operates in a category of its own. Annual fine particle levels in the city average roughly 90 micrograms per cubic meter. To put that in perspective, the World Health Organization sets the safe annual limit for these tiny, microscopic particles at just 5 micrograms per cubic meter. This is not a temporary environmental setback. It is a year-round baseline. During the peak winter months, ground monitoring stations across the capital consistently record air quality index numbers that climb off the charts, verifying the satellite data gathered from orbit. Year after year, independent global tracking agencies and domestic regulatory networks like the Central Pollution Control Board arrive at the exact same conclusion. Delhi repeatedly occupies the top spot of capital city pollution rankings, establishing a permanent baseline of hazard. Ground monitors at monitoring sites like Shadipur and ITO confirm these measurements are not a statistical anomaly. They represent a persistent urban condition, an atmospheric ceiling under which an entire population must live. When winter arrives, Delhi's atmosphere undergoes a physical transformation. The transition begins as temperatures drop, triggering a meteorological trap known as a temperature inversion. Instead of rising into the upper atmosphere, cold, heavy air sinks to the ground, pinned down by a warm layer of air resting directly above it like a lid. During these months, the planetary boundary layer collapses from its summer heights down to a shallow pocket of just 200 to 400 meters, the winds stall, frequently dropping below 1 meter per second. With virtually no horizontal movement or vertical mixing, the city's daily output has nowhere to go. Every exhaust pipe from idling two-wheelers and heavy diesel trucks, every plume from peripheral coal power plants, and every cloud of pulverized earth from construction sites becomes trapped in a stagnant pool of air. This local accumulation is compounded by a regional phenomenon. In October and November, farmers in neighboring Punjab and Haryana clear millions of acres of agricultural residue. Prevailing northwesterly winds carry this massive seasonal smoke plume directly into the Indo-Gangetic Basin, where it settles over Delhi. While the explosive fireworks of the Diwali festival create a dramatic and highly visible spike in toxic haze, atmospheric studies show they account for less than 10% of the winter-long pollution load. The true crisis is a structural gridlock of geography, weather, and year-round emissions, turning the winter air into a predictable, seasonal trap. At 6 in the morning, survival in Delhi starts with a screen. Before stepping outside, millions of residents open air quality applications, checking a single volatile number that dictates their entire day. When the index climbs past 250, daily routines split from the clock and align instead with the density of the air. Street vendors delay setting up their carts, and parents adjust the straps on their children's masks before the school commute. Decisions to walk to the local market or wait for a clearer afternoon are made based on the latest hourly update. These face coverings are now standard outdoor wear. Yet simple fabric offers little defense against microscopic particles. Commuters rely increasingly on certified N95 and KN95 respirators, which depend entirely on a tight seal against the skin to filter the toxic haze. For traffic police officers standing in congested intersections, an imperfect fit means breathing high concentrations of dangerous particulates. In this city, stepping onto the street requires a calculated, daily risk assessment. Breathing Delhi's winter air is not a passive act, it is a physical assault on the body. The invisible threat lies in PM 2.5, particulate matter so small that it bypasses the body's natural filtration systems, travels into the furthest reaches of the lungs, and enters the bloodstream. This chronic exposure causes systemic inflammation, forcing vital organs to work under constant duress. In pediatric clinics, the toll on children is measurable. Studies show that children exposed to 30 or more days of highly polluted air before age 12 face a 15% higher risk of developing asthma, alongside an 8% reduction in overall lung growth. The damage is cumulative, quietly building with every breath rather than occurring only on the worst smog days. For older residents, the consequences are immediate and severe. During peak pollution weeks, local hospitals report a 20% surge in admissions for cardiovascular events and acute respiratory distress. When the smog thickens to emergency levels, schools are forced to lock doors and halt outdoor activities, transforming educational institutions into clean air sanctuaries. The threat is no longer outside. It is woven into the very fabric of daily physical survival. By mid-morning, the heavy gray fog halts the physical movement of the city. On major expressways, visibility collapses to just a few meters. The thick haze transforms multi-lane highways into slow, dangerous crawls, forcing commuter vehicles and freight trucks to navigate blindly by the faint glow of taillights ahead. Average road speeds drop by 20% as trip times become entirely unpredictable. Above, at Indira Gandhi International Airport, the disruption stalls the airspace. When visual ranges plummet, incoming flights are diverted to distant runways in neighboring states, while scheduled departures line up on the tarmac, waiting hours for a break in the smog. Delhi's transport networks do not shut down, but they grind forward under immense strain, reduced to a sluggish blind crawl. Inside Delhi's homes, the battle for clean air has created a lucrative industry. Retailers sell HEPA-based purifiers to middle-class families for 8,000 to 12,000 rupees, promising a sterile sanctuary. This market now moves over 1 million units annually. Alongside these devices, digital monitors track particulate counts, flashing red or green to indicate safety. Yet this safety comes with a subscription. Replacing the dense filters every few months adds a recurring cost of 3,000 rupees, transforming breathable air into a monthly utility bill. For the wealthiest, high-end filtration systems keep the smog at bay. But for lower-income households earning less than 5 lakhs a year, these machines are impossible luxuries. Instead of high-efficiency filters, millions survive by hanging wet blankets over doorways, relying on cheap, improvised setups to block the toxic haze. Delhi's regulatory response relies on a tiered emergency framework called the Graded Response Action Plan, or GRAP. When the Air Quality Index breaches dangerous thresholds, the Commission for Air Quality Management triggers progressive restrictions, culminating in Stage 4 bans on non-essential construction and industrial operations. To curb emissions, the city deploys temporary traffic rationing, such as the odd-even license plate scheme. Yet these emergency interventions offer only marginal relief. The odd-even policy exempts two-wheelers and diesel trucks, which generate 70% of road emissions. In addition, local construction bans are frequently bypassed by reclassifying projects as essential infrastructure, while enforcement agencies lack the personnel to police thousands of decentralized sites. Beyond the city limits, addressing agricultural stubble burning in neighboring Punjab and Haryana requires massive subsidies for tractor attachments like the Happy Cedar. Despite satellite monitoring, farmers continue to clear fields at night to evade detection. Because 35% of Delhi's winter smog originates outside its borders, this complex administrative puzzle remains unresolved, leaving the city trapped in a seasonal cycle of crisis and compromise. Beneath the gray canopy of another winter, millions of lives go on, masking, working, and waiting. But when survival requires adapting to the unlivable, the cost is written in every shallow breath. How long can resilience substitute for clean air? Share your thoughts below.